Welcome to this journey of self-discovery and growth, where we're diving deep into that not-so-friendly voice in your head, your inner critic. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the one that pops up when you're trying to live your best life, whispering all kinds of doubt and negativity. You can't do this, it says. Who do you think you are? It's like that one annoying friend who always has something to say about your choices, uninvited and totally unfiltered. Lesson 1. Identifying your inner critic. Hey, what's up with your inner critic? So let's kick things off by talking about this sneaky little voice in your head, the inner critic. You know, that annoying internal commentator who thinks they've got your life all figured out. Trust me, we've all been there. Sitting on the couch, mindlessly scrolling through social media, and bam, your brain starts playing that familiar tape. What are you doing with your life? Why aren't you more successful? You should have applied for that job last week. What is this voice anyway? Your inner critic is kind of like that one friend who always thinks they're helping you when, in reality, they're just bringing negativity into the room. It's the self-doubt that bubbles up when you're about to step into a big meeting, the anxiety that hits when you're about to try something new. In Stoic philosophy, we learn to separate ourselves from our thoughts. This means taking a step back and observing these thoughts without judgment. Recognizing the critic. To ghost this critic, you first have to recognize when it's talking. You might think, oh, everyone thinks this way. But listen up. That voice is not the ultimate truth. It's a distorted perception, a sabotage artist dressed in your own thoughts. Grab a journal. Yeah, that's right, dust that thing off, and start jotting down when you hear your inner critic chime in. Is it after a certain failure? When you're taking a risk? Recognizing the patterns is key. Let's dive deeper. Why do we criticize ourselves? So what's the deal? Why do we have this annoying little voice in the first place? It's not just random, it has roots. 1. Cultural pressure. We live in a world that incessantly pushes us to be better, do better, achieve more. Social media doesn't help either. We compare ourselves to curated lives of influencers and friends, creating unrealistic standards that spark the inner critic's criticism. 2. Childhood experiences. Often this voice stems from our upbringing. Maybe your parents had high expectations, or you were always compared to a sibling or peer. These experiences mold our self-image and contribute to that voice saying we're not enough. 3. Fear of failure. Deep down, the inner critic is fueled by fear, the fear of failing or being rejected. This false sense of protection kicks in, pushing us to criticize ourselves before someone else gets a chance to. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics teach us that we can't control external events, only our reactions to them. This ties into recognizing that the voice isn't you, it's a product of environmental influences. In other words, just because this voice says you're a failure doesn't mean you have to own that identity. Practical steps. Drowning that voice out. So how do we take action here? Ghosting the inner critic takes persistence and practice, but it's absolutely doable. 1. Spot the lies. When that inner critic pipes up, challenge it. Is what it's saying rational? You're not good enough transforms into, what evidence do I have to support this? 2. Talk back. Engage in a dialogue with your inner critic. Have a sarcastic comeback ready. If the critic says you'll never get that promotion, respond with, watch me work my butt off to prove you wrong. 3. Channel your inner Stoic. Recollect that the Stoics focused on rational thought. Remember, your worth isn't tied to your success, but rather to your character. Practice the dichotomy of control by separating your feelings of self-worth from external achievements. 4. Seek feedback. Share your thoughts with a trusted friend or mentor. Often, discussing those feelings aloud helps us see they're not as severe as we think. Remember, your inner critic is like a mosquito, annoying as hell but totally manageable. Recognizing it is half the battle. The other half is taking practical steps to gradually silence that voice. Lesson 2. Understanding the roots of your inner critic. Digging deep. Getting to the roots. Now that you've identified that inner critic, it's time for the deep dive. We're talking about getting to the roots of this voice, because understanding where it comes from is essential for shutting it down. If we think of this inner critic as a weed in the garden of our mind, we've got to pull it out by the roots. Otherwise, it'll keep growing back. Where it all began, childhood and beyond. Let's be real. Every single one of us comes with a backstory, the influence of upbringing. Parents often mean well, but their expectations can sometimes turn into a pressure cooker. Think about it. Were you raised to be the best? If so, it's no surprise that your inner critic screams, "You're not enough," when you stumble. Cultural expectations. Society's portrayal of success is relentless. Whether it's the promotion you didn't get, or the social media posts showing friends traveling while you're on the couch with takeout, these comparisons create benchmarks that are often impossible to meet. Analyzing the self-talk, the good, the bad, and the ugly now, reflect on those early experiences. How do they manifest in your current self-talk? Write down specific phrases or criticisms you've internalized. For example, if you've written down, "I have to be perfect," ask yourself, 1. Whose voice is that? Is it a parent's, a teacher's, or society's? Identifying the source helps you understand the origin of your self-criticism. 2. Is that belief true? Challenge that voice. Perfection is an impossible standard. Nobody can hit it all the time. 3. Reframe it. Take that negative thought and rewrite it. "I have to be perfect" becomes "I strive for progress, not perfection." Pattern recognition, connecting the dots. The next step is to recognize patterns that lead to your self-criticism. Write down recurring themes that pop up when your inner critic comes to play. You might find fear of rejection, struggling to put yourself out there because you fear what others might say. That's the inner critic planting seeds of doubt. Imposter syndrome. Ever felt like a fraud when you achieved something? That voice undermines your accomplishments. Acknowledge what you achieved and remember you earned it. The comparison trap. Scrolling through social media and immediately feeling less than? Recognize that it's easy to compare your everyday reality to others' highlight reels. Cultivating a Stoic mindset. Accepting what you can't change. Incorporating Stoicism into this process helps you realize that you cannot control your past. All you can manage is your response to it. The Stoics believed in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on how we react to those truths. Visualize your true self. What qualities make you, you? Is it kindness, creativity, resilience? Focus on cultivating those traits instead of chasing validation through external measures. Practice gratitude. Each day, list 3 things you appreciate about yourself: skills, traits, or accomplishments. This adds a layer of positivity that silences the harsh inner critic. The role of mindfulness. Mindfulness plays a gigantic role in understanding yourself. Engaging in mindfulness practice allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment. Here's how to implement mindfulness when combating the inner critic. 1. Meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. When thoughts arise, simply observe them without attaching meaning. It's about letting them pass like clouds in the sky. 2. Daily check-ins. Set aside time each day to check in with your feelings. Ask yourself, what's bothering me today? Engaging with your thoughts helps you recognize the inner critic before it raises its ugly head. 3. Mindful affirmations. Create affirmations that challenge your inner critic directly. Affirm that you are enough, that progress is more important than perfection, and that you are deserving of love and kindness. Lesson 3. Reframing negative thoughts. Say what? Let's flip that script. Welcome to the flip side, my friends. Ready to take those pesky negative thoughts and turn them upside down? Reframing is the name of the game, and it's time to learn how to remix that inner critic's soundtrack. What does it mean to reframe? Reframing is basically changing your perspective on a situation, transforming negative thoughts into constructive ones. Why dwell on what's wrong when you can focus on what's possible? As a wise dude named Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So why not spruce them up a bit? Identifying the inner critic's nonsense. To reframe effectively, you first need to catch yourself in the act. What negative self-talk do you fall victim to? It may sound cliché, but words have power. Common inner critic sayings include, "I can't do this. I don't deserve success. I always mess things up." The power of yet, adding yet to the end of negative statements completely reframes the narrative. "I can't do this" becomes "I can't do this yet." It places the focus on growth and improvement rather than failure. Building strong affirmations. What are affirmations? Affirmations are statements declaring what you want to be true. They reshape your inner dialogue and help combat negative self-talk. Creating affirmations. Best practices. 1. Make it present tense. Use "I am" instead of "I will be." For example, "I am capable" instead of "I will be successful." 2. Keep it positive. Focus on what you want to attract rather than what you want to avoid. Avoid phrases like "I am not a failure" and instead say, "I am growing and learning." 3. Be specific. General affirmations feel vague and weak. Instead of saying "I am good," try "I tackle challenges head-on with confidence." Example affirmations. I am worthy of success. My mistakes are learning opportunities. I embrace challenges and grow from them. Daily practice. Incorporate these affirmations into your daily routine. Recite them each morning, write them down, or even record yourself saying them and listen on your commute. You've got to drown out that inner critic with some serious positivity. Cognitive restructuring. A more academic approach for the brainiacs out there. Cognitive restructuring, fancy term, right? Is about changing dysfunctional thought patterns. Identify distorted thinking. Focus on common cognitive distortions. Oh, all or nothing thinking. If I don't ace this, I'm a complete failure. Oh, overgeneralization. I messed up this one time, so I'll always mess up. Oh, catastrophizing. If I fail this test, I'll never get into a good college. 2. Challenge those distortions. Instead of accepting these thoughts as truth, drill down and challenge their validity. 3. Create a new thought. Write a new thought that counters these distorted perceptions. Example. Overgeneralization. Original thought. I failed my last project, so I can't do anything right. New thought. I made a mistake, but I've succeeded in the past, and I can apply what I learned to do better next time. Conclusion of Lesson 3. Reframing your negative thoughts takes practice, but it's a game changer. You're not simply repressing or denying those thoughts. Instead, you're challenging their validity and replacing them with something constructive. By learning to flip the script, you are ghosting that inner critic and replacing it with powerful affirmations and rational thoughts. Keep at it, and soon you'll build a stronger internal dialogue that champions you rather than tears you down. Lesson 4. The power of self-compassion. Understanding. Self-compassion versus self-esteem. All right, folks, it's time to talk about self-compassion, the superhero you didn't know you needed. In your battle against the inner critic, this is your secret weapon. What's the difference? While self-esteem is often tied to external achievements, like the promotion you just scored, self-compassion is about how we treat ourselves during tough times. Think of it as being the friend you'd want to have. Instead of berating yourself for a mistake, self-compassion encourages kindness and understanding. The 3 components of self-compassion. 1. Self-kindness. Being kind and supportive to yourself when you're struggling. Imagine talking to yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. 2. Common humanity. Recognizing that everyone messes up. You're not alone in your struggles. Everyone has off days and makes mistakes. 3. Mindfulness. Acknowledging your feelings without over-identifying with them. I messed up doesn't equal I am a failure. Cultivating self-compassion, a step-by-step guide. Step 1. Awareness. Notice the inner critic. Start by acknowledging when you fall into that harsh self-criticism. When you hear that critical voice, pause. Exercise. Identify critique moments. Write down moments when you criticize yourself. Reflect on those moments. How does it feel? What is this inner voice saying? Step 2. Write yourself a letter. Oh yeah, it's time for some self-love. Channel your inner therapist and write yourself a compassionate letter. Here's how. 1. Begin with self-compassion. Start with an opening statement that encourages kindness. Hey, I know things are tough right now. 2. Acknowledge feelings. Write about what you're feeling and why. Know that it's okay to feel this way. 3. Offer kind support. Give yourself advice. It's all right to make mistakes. You're only human. 4. Reinstill hope. End on a positive note. You will get through this. Remember the times you overcame challenges before. Benefits of this exercise. Enhances emotional intelligence. Brings forth kindness where it was lacking. Step 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the final ingredient in this powerful recipe. It's about being present, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. 1. Meditation practice. Start with simple breathing exercises. Focus on inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. When thoughts arise, acknowledge them, then let them float away like clouds. 2. Body scan technique. This technique involves mentally scanning your body and observing where you hold tension. Notice how you feel without criticism. 3. Mindful self-talk. When that inner critic shows up, practice mindfulness by stopping and asking, is this thought helping me right now? If it's not, kindly redirect. The power of forgiveness. One significant aspect of self-compassion involves forgiveness, especially forgiving yourself. 1. Understand what it means to forgive. Forgiveness doesn't mean saying, what I did was okay. It's simply saying, I'm human, I learn, grow, and sometimes falter. 2. Challenge the narrative. When you dwell on past mistakes, challenge their grip on you. Write down lessons learned from those experiences and embrace the growth mindset. Conclusion of Lesson 4. Self-compassion isn't just a soft concept. It's a powerful practice that actively works to drown out that inner critic. By learning to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, we create resilience against negative thoughts. In the end, self-compassion is the ultimate answer to self-judgment and criticism. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be you. Keep practicing that kindness, and watch how it transforms your inner landscape. Lesson 5. Visualizing your best self. Welcome to the visualization zone. All right, team, let's get down to business with visualization. You've heard the saying, if you can dream it, you can achieve it, right? Visualization is about creating a mental picture of your best self and the life you want. It's not just wishful thinking. It's an effective strategy that can help you overcome your inner critic. The science behind visualization studies show that visualization can enhance performance, reduce anxiety, and improve self-esteem. Athletes use it before big competitions to mentally rehearse their success, and you can too. Why it works. When you visualize success, your brain doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. Your confidence grows, and that pesky inner critic finds it hard to argue with a powerful vision of success. Steps to mastering visualization. Step 1. Set the scene 1. Find a quiet space. Turn off distractions. Put your phone on airplane mode if you need to. Get comfy and find a peaceful spot. 2. Take a few deep breaths. Center yourself. Focus on inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth. Step 2. Imagine your vision 1. Craft your ideal life. Let your mind wander. What does your best self look like? Imagine it in vivid detail. What are you doing? How do you feel? What do you see? 2. Create a success story. Picture a specific situation, the promotion you want, the public speaking gig, or the successful art exhibit. Build a narrative around it. Example: visualization. Imagine walking into your workplace confidently. You're dressed in your favorite outfit, feeling empowered. Notice the sights, sounds, and emotions. The energy is electric, and you can feel the support from your colleagues. You begin speaking, and the room hangs on your every word. Step 3. Embrace the feelings. Feel what it's like to embody that best self. Can you feel the pride, joy, and exhilaration? This is about more than just a mental image. It's about tapping into those emotions that propel you forward. Step 4. Use a vision board. A vision board is a tangible representation of your dreams. Grab a poster board, scissors, and magazines, and let's create. 1. Cut out images and words. Find pictures that resonate with your vision and words that inspire. 2. Arrange them. Create a collage that excites you. Place your vision board somewhere you'll see it every day. 3. Reflect. Take a few moments each day to look at your board and visualize your goals. The power of daily visualization. Make this a routine. Just as you brush your teeth every morning, carve out time each day to visualize your best self and your dreams. Over time, you'll strengthen that mental image and reinforce positive self-beliefs. Overcoming obstacles. Visualizing beyond limits. Sometimes, obstacles pop up: self-doubt, fear, and limitations. During your visualization practice, don't just envision success. Also visualize overcoming challenges. 1. See yourself conquering obstacles. Picture roadblocks that you may face and imagine ways to overcome them. 2. Engage with fear. If you're afraid of public speaking, visualize delivering a speech successfully while overcoming your anxiety. Picture the supportive audience. Feel their energy pushing you forward. Conclusion of lesson 5. Visualization is a powerful tool that helps combat the inner critic. By picturing your best self and the life you want, you're creating a mental roadmap to success. It's time to step into your vision. Remember, your inner critic has no say in this creative process. This is your narrative to spin. Embrace it. Lesson 6. Mindfulness practices to quiet the critic. What's mindfulness all about? Welcome to the calming world of mindfulness. We're diving into the sea of being present and letting go of negative thoughts that weigh us down. What's the deal with mindfulness? It's about being in the moment, fully aware of your thoughts and feelings without criticism. Think of it as getting to know yourself better, inner critic included. Why mindfulness? Mindfulness decreases anxiety, enhances self-awareness, and helps us intervene before the inner critic starts its onslaught. It's about recognizing your thoughts and feelings without reacting to them or letting them control your state of mind. Tips for practicing mindfulness. Step 1. Start small with breathing exercises. 1. Find a quiet space. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. 2. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Repeat. When negative thoughts show up, simply acknowledge them without judgment. Step 2. Daily mindful moments. Incorporate mindfulness into your everyday routine. 1. Mindful eating. Savor each bite of your meal without distractions. Focus on flavors and textures to ground yourself in the moment. 2. Mindful walking. Go for a walk without music or distractions. Feel the ground beneath your feet, notice your surroundings, and embrace the journey. 3. Gratitude practices. Reflect on 3 things you're grateful for each day. It shifts your mental focus away from negativity. Step 3. Mindful reflection. Before bed, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask questions like, how did I feel today? Did I hear my inner critic? What did it say? How did I respond? Jot down your reflections in a journal. Remember, mindfulness isn't about reaching a state of perfection. It's simply about being aware. Mindfulness and self-talk. Being mindful of your self-talk can be a game changer. When that inner critic pipes up, pause. Instead of investing energy in those negative thoughts, ask, 1. Is this thought true? 2. What effect does it have on me? 3. What would I tell a friend in this situation? Harnessing mindfulness to fight the inner critic. Here's where the magic happens. You learn to observe your inner critic without getting sucked into its vortex. When you recognize negative thoughts, 1. Acknowledge the thought. Okay, I see you, inner critic. 2. Refocus. Gently bring your attention back to your breath or a calming mantra. 3. Let go. Picture the thought floating away like a balloon. It doesn't define you. Mindfulness in daily life. Laughing, washing dishes, or commuting. These everyday moments are golden opportunities for practicing mindfulness. Immerse yourself in the present experience and observe how it shifts your feelings toward self-acceptance. Conclusion of Lesson 6. Mindfulness helps cultivate self-awareness and acts as a buffer against negative self-talk. When you become more mindful, that inner critic loses power. Remember, mindfulness isn't a one-time deal. It's a practice, a lifestyle. Start small, stay consistent, and allow yourself the space to grow beyond self-criticism. Lesson 7. Building a supportive community. Why community matters. Let's wrap things up by focusing on the power of community. You might not know it yet, but having a supportive network is crucial for ghosting that inner critic. Whether it's friends, family, or online communities, surrounding yourself with positivity can drown out the negativity. The impact of positive relationships. 1. Shared experiences. Sharing your struggles helps others see they're not alone, cultivating a sense of empathy and connection. 2. Real talk. Real friends are there to give you a pep talk when you're stuck in your head. They remind you of your worth and that mistakes are merely stepping stones. 3. Accountability. Partners. A support system keeps you on track. When they lift you up, they help you resist the urge to listen to your inner critic. Steps to create your support network. Step 1. Assess your circle. Take a moment and think about your current relationships. Which ones fuel your strength? Which ones diminish your self-worth? Step 2. Be intentional. Seek out positivity. Connect with those who resonate with your journey. People who value growth, self-improvement, and authenticity. Engage with online communities. Social media can spark connections. Engage in groups focused on personal growth, positivity, or hobbies that interest you. Step 3. Foster relationships. 1. Regular check-ins. Schedule regular times to catch up with friends or family, virtually or in person. Create that space to share and support one another. 2. Create a vent buddy system. New term alert. Establish connections with someone who understands your journey and serves as a go-to person for venting. This creates a safe environment where you can express yourself without judgment.